rockets lose energy to the atmosphere on the way up. Mountains are closer to space. So why not build the launch pad on the tallest mountain on Earth? Skip the bottom of the atmosphere, skip the thickest air, start higher, save fuel, put more stuff in orbit. It's a reasonable idea, suspiciously reasonable. Let's find out what it actually costs. A Falcon 9 is 70 meters tall and weighs 550 tons, fully fueled. The access road to Everest Base Camp is a dirt track for yak traffic. To build a launch pad at 8,848 meters, you need a heavy load, paved road to the summit, a full launch complex with a flame trench and liquid oxygen stored at -292 Fahrenheit. Not to forget the winds that routinely exceed 200 kilometers per hour. The infrastructure cost at this altitude would be comparable to the entire Apollo program, which, adjusted for today's money, was $310 billion. But Elon Musk is worth $1.3 trillion. He has built reusable rockets, tunneled under Los Angeles, and is currently attempting to colonize a different planet. If anyone can build a launch pad on Everest, it's him. So let's assume he builds it. Somehow. The road, liquid oxygen, and even a Starbucks at base camp. What does he actually get? To reach low Earth orbit, a rocket needs about 9.4 kilometers per second of total velocity change. Most of that goes into reaching orbital speed and climbing out of Earth's gravity well. Atmospheric drag, the thing a mountain actually helps with, accounts for about 0.15 kilometers per second. Less than 2% of the total. Launching from the top of Everest saves on the order of 0.05 kilometers per second. On a Falcon 9 carrying its maximum payload of 22,800 kilograms, that translates to approximately 300 to 500 kilograms of extra payload capacity. A grand piano weighs about 480 kilograms. He spent the equivalent of Apollo to gain one grand piano per launch. To be fair, drag isn't even the main problem. The real villain is gravity loss, which is 10 times bigger than drag loss. And a mountain does absolutely nothing for it. You'd need to launch horizontally at orbital velocity to beat gravity loss, and you cannot do that from a mountaintop or from anywhere on the surface of a planet. But Musk is not a man who accepts geographical or engineering constraints. If the mountain isn't tall enough, build taller. What if SpaceX built a tower so tall it actually punched through the bulk of the atmosphere? The atmosphere is roughly 100 kilometers thick. To get above 99% of its mass, you'd want to be at around 30 to 40 kilometers altitude. At 30 kilometers, 98% of the atmosphere is below you. Drag, gone. Engine efficiency, improved. Extra payload per launch, 2,000 to 3,000 kilograms. 3 grand pianos instead of 1. But gravity loss at 1.5 to 2 kilometers per second is 10 times the drag loss and almost unaffected by altitude. How much will this tower cost? A 30-kilometer tower is 36 Burj Khalifas, which cost $1.5 billion and took 6 years to build. More importantly, no material produced at commercial scale can sustain its own weight at 30 kilometers. Carbon nanotubes theoretically could. Rough structural scaling puts the cost somewhere above $10 trillion. That is 8 times Elon Musk's entire net worth. The tower beats Musk. As it happens, someone already solved this problem decades ago without a mountain or a tower. A company called Orbital Sciences solved this in the 90s. Their rocket, Pegasus, is carried to 12 kilometers altitude by a modified commercial aircraft, already 35% higher than Everest, and dropped. No mountain, no tower, no road, no yaks. So for now, let's just trust Elon's math. Falcon 9 has delivered more cumulative payload to orbit than any rocket family in history. The best launch pad on Earth isn't on top of anything. It's as close to the equator as Texas gets. next to a road that trucks can drive on, near a port that ships can reach.